Welcome, everybody. Yeah, great job finding your way here. I know the Hall of Mirrors can be quite the maze, but you've earned your way here by participating in the Mirror Magic Challenge. This is an exclusive VIP session just for you, and I know you are going to love it because here in the Mirror Lab, real content walks in, looks in the mirror, and walks out with Genially superpowers. So, yeah, pretty fancy stuff. Very fancy. Now, before we get started, just a couple of quick notes for our live attendees. If you'd like to follow the session in your own language, you can just look for the little interpretation icon. If you're on the browser version, you'll see it right on the bottom bar. And if you're using the app, whether you're on desktop or mobile, you'll find it under the More menu. Once you've selected your desired language, you can unmute the original audio, totally up to you. That's the first thing that I wanted to share with you. And of course, we do have our Genially team here in the chat. If you have any questions, you can just drop them there in the chat and they'll be more than happy to help you out. The second thing is that the Mirror Lab is interactive. So I invite you to join our Genially Live now. We're going to put the link in the chat for you, the join link that just makes it a lot easier for you to join that Genially Live. You can enter your name and then you are in. Okay, just want to make sure I see some people in the waiting room. I just want to make sure to admit them all. There we go. Let's go ahead and open the lab with our first showcase. Here we go. Thank you. Big thank you to Roberto from Spain for submitting this genially. Yes, it is a genially, right? We can genialize genialies. That is totally a thing. Absolutely. If you were in the previous Mirror Lab, you saw that. So this is some training material for Copa Airlines, right? And so it was built in genially using the board game template. You might, be familiar with this if you've played around with our templates before. And so served as a corporate training tool for Copa Airlines. And so this mostly stayed true to the original template, right? Changed some of the colors, swapped some of the content. And so you can see it has the drag and drop tokens. When you land on a space, you click on the little plus sign, it gives you a question. And then if you get the question correct, you get to claim that space with a house, right? Is basically the way that it works. So each one of these spaces has something in it. And you see there are some just questions where it asks you to name certain things, but then there are also some interactive questions and things like that. Right. And so you work your way around the board and you have your die right here that you can roll that came as part of the template. And your instructions, of course, that go along with it. Okay, so that's the original version. Now, let me hop out of this guy and let's take a look at the genialized version. Ooh, yes, we have our fancy sound effects for the genialized version. So let's take a look at this. All right. So this is the genialized version, courtesy of Estefania, who is on our creative team. This is the team that creates the all the templates that you see on Genially. So they are very magical. This team is, and so Estefania went through and did this, and I'll actually show you this one first. I think this is really helpful because you can see our comparison tool, our image comparison widget that can show you the original and then there's the new version, the original new version, right? And so Estefania, what she did was she wanted to refresh the aesthetic on this, right? To match the Copa Airlines branding. And so she went on the site and the Copa Airlines site. She pulled some of the icons actually from the site. She pulled some of the fonts and the colors directly from that Copa Airlines site and transformed these static, some of the static board spaces. Let's see, like this one, for instance. She changed them from no response to now you can actually enter a response, right? So you can put your response in here and actually send it. And you can set this up to do individual activity tracking so you can see how your participants, how your trainees did on this. Changed up, a lot of the visuals that you can see here. And then, yeah, as you go around, you can see that each one of these spaces now has a little different, in some cases, a different question, a different type of question. I think there was even some sorting type questions in here. Estefania did, yeah, there we go. We had some image selection. She did all sorts of different types of interactive questions here. There was even a fill in the blank there, I think, somewhere as well. And keep in mind, again, if you're in the Genially Live, you can click around on this too, right? I'm clicking around on my screen, but you can also click around on your screen and explore on your own as I'm showing these off to you. So that is our first genialization, right? We like to use that word genialize around here. So we genialized this one. This one, was more of an aesthetic type of transformation, right? Let's go into maybe some more dramatic transformations with this next little showcase. So let's take a look at this one. All right, so this one is courtesy of Sandra Fontimpe from France, and it's an infographic, okay? And this is an infographic from the official eSante government website, okay? And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not very good with French. But yeah, this is the original, so you can see it's just a static infographic image. Pretty dense, right? It has a lot of information here. It explains the entire French e-health ecosystem, right, in one image. So yeah, Sandra, if you were the one who created this, kudos to you for just getting all of this information into one image. But yeah, extremely information heavy, kind of difficult to navigate with your eye, like where should your eye go, that sort of thing. And we don't really have the interactivity or the guidance for the viewers. So let's see what happens when we genialize. Okay, so this was a perfect candidate, and I actually genialized this one. As soon as I saw the image, I was like, oh yes, this needs to be an interactive image. It absolutely has to be. This is a perfect candidate for that. So I turned it into this. So this interactive image, I think it creates a lot more clarity and more clear navigation. So I broke the content into manageable chunks here to kind of reduce the cognitive load, added these animated hotspots. So when you click on the hotspot, it opens this interactive window that pops out from the right side, and you can see the information. It has all of the same information that the original infographic had. It's just chunked a little bit and made more interactive and easier to follow and understand, I think, right? So we have these animated hotspots, and notice whenever you click on the hotspot, it not only opens the window, but you also kind of have your little, it still remains glowing here, the original content from the infographic. Also changed up some of the fonts here to match. I saw that there was an official French government font. I didn't know that, but yeah, I guess there is. And so I tried to match that up as much as possible. And yeah, the shading and the animation to sort of direct attention. And yeah, as a bonus, I learned far more about the French e-health ecosystem than I ever thought I would know. So thank you, Sandra, for for sending this one in and giving that opportunity for me to learn a little bit more about that and to genialize at the same time. So yeah, cool. There's another one. Let's move on to the next one and see what we have here. This one is from Ana Santiago from Spain. Where are my Spanish friends at? We have some Spanish friends here. I hope so. All right. So this is a Canva presentation. And you'll see here as you go through it, it has very clean design, really good visuals. Has some an embedded video here. It includes activities as well, right? Like this activity, but didn't have a whole lot of interactivity within the slides, right? Which is what you're going to see with Canva presentations. They look amazing, just not a whole lot of interactivity. And so this created an excellent foundation for some transformation, right? And so Carla from our US team genialized it, and I think she did a phenomenal job with this. So let's explore this a little bit and take a look at what she did. So this was a perfect opportunity to use the Genially plus Canva integration that we have, right? So if you haven't used it yet, definitely make sure that you use that. I think our team is going to be putting a link in the chat to help you with that if you haven't seen that before. But you can take things directly from Canva and bring them into Genially, and that's exactly what Carla did here, and she made it interactive in doing that, right? So you can see, yeah, the animations are a little bit different. She also incorporated our emotions presentation template. I don't know if you've seen that one, but it has all these cool like little emoticon things in it and has a really cool kind of aesthetic to it. So she combined the two into this one presentation. Put the video into an interactive window. And yeah, this video is kind of crazy, right? Wow, elephant smacking the girl. Wow. So yes, that is, I guess, an emotional moment. I guess is what's going on there because we're talking about emotions here. And then yeah, so Carla totally revamped this particular slide. So she has this where you click on this, it reveals this. You click on this, it reveals this. So some click and reveal things here. And then as we move on, we have this little timeline here. So this is the activity that was in there before. So you see it starts with a 25-minute timer counting down. And then we have this embedded Spotify song, right? So yeah, directly embedded into the Genially. If you didn't know you could do that, you can. Yeah. So yeah, so that's there, and it gives the information, the directions on how to do that particular activity. Incorporated some flip cards here again to just kind of reduce, kind of organize a little bit and reduce the cognitive load, reduce the number of pages and slides on this. Interactive windows. And I think we had those. Oh, yeah, she revamped this timeline a little bit, which I thought was really cool. Turned it into like this sort of emotion thing, whereas the original was just sort of a regular timeline. Some more flip cards here. And then there was one more that I wanted to show you. Yeah, this one here. This page here, I thought Carla did a great job incorporating some short answer options here so that you can interact with this presentation even more, right? With these little short answer text boxes that she embedded into here. So yeah, really, really great job that Carla did with this genialization of a Canva presentation, right? So yeah, very, very cool. And thanks again, Anna, for sending that in. All right, let's look at our fourth. And this is our fourth and final one, actually. So we'll take a look at this one. We have this was sent to us by Rocio Rios from Mexico, and it began as a LinkedIn article. Okay, so here I'm going to click on this, and you can see what it looked like originally. So we have like some Canva images. We have there's a a good amount of text. It's an article, right? So of course you're going to have a lot of text and some images there to kind of break it up. Again, most of those created in Canva, it looked like. We had some links and a really, really interesting article, actually. I can see why Luis chose this one. Luis actually doing our Spanish interpretation. He's the one who did the genializing for this one. And so, yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at that genialized version, shall we? Here we go. All right, so Luis turned this into an infographic, an interactive infographic. He took all of that information and turned it into this, and it's so cool. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, right? Whenever you have one of these vertical infographics, you can always use a little zoom in the bottom right corner there to zoom in and see a little bit closer. And so you can see Luis did a really good job of directing the eye, right? He used, so you start at the top and he used arrows here to bring your eye to here, then to here. I know Luis loves using the AI generated images and the AI generated audio, and so he has that here. Okay, so there we go. We have that. That was an AI generated um, audio there. We have some hotspots that pop up, some cool flip cards here. And yeah, I believe most, if not all of these images were created with Genially's AI, right? Just AI image generation in Genially. So included these guys here to show some information, some more audio here, right? So everywhere you see that little speaker, you have the audio, more flip cards as you go through, right? Very cool. Going over here. And so he gives all these little helpful hints of what you need to do, right? So click here and you'll see something else, right? Ah, there we go. So we get this interactive window. Very cool. He has the same little robot guy here giving the information that was here in the original. Um, More flip cards to give you more. Ah, yes, and he used a flip card deck here, right? So if you want to fit a lot of cards into one space or create a card deck of some sort, you can do that here. So you can see Luis did that with this one. Pretty cool with the techniques for prompting, right? We have some more areas where you can click. Let's see. Oh, okay. And I see in the chat, sorry about that, Inga. Yeah, it does look like I must not be sharing my audio, but trust me, there was Spanish there was Spanish audio there with our AI generated audio. So yeah, sorry about that. But yes, I promise you it's there. So yeah, so there we go. We have a really attractive, really interesting, genialized version of that LinkedIn article. So there you have it, folks. The genialized results of the Mirror Lab. We're very excited to be able to give each of our lucky content submitters their upgraded versions, and we'll also be adding reusable versions in the community tab so everybody can take them for a spin and see how these work. And hey, you know what? If you enjoyed this session, I know it was a little quick, but if you enjoyed this session, be sure to check out Genialize That. It's a weekly social media video series that I post on my socials where I do exactly this type of thing on a weekly basis. Take something ordinary and transform it into something amazing. Also, remember that you have access to the future ride happening a little bit later, the flight to the lab of tomorrow. So I hope you will join me for that because it's going to be amazing. We're going to look at some brand new features that haven't been released yet in Genially. So yeah, you definitely don't want to miss that. I look forward to seeing you all there. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this session, and we're going to move on with our next one at WonderFest. So thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate you, and I hope you enjoyed the genializations. Bye.